And I have a question for you. Have you ever thought I could really use more referrals in my business? Or I'm not even sure how it's possible for me to network enough to get the kind of referrals I need in my business? Well, this particular conversation is going to be of great interest to you, as today we will be talking about how to activate your zone of genius through power partnering. Now, to help me have this conversation, I had the most amazing panel of experts to help me have this conversation. But before I forget, I want you to know that this particular conversation is actually sponsored by the Grand Connections. So, to help me have this conversation, I want to introduce the founders of the Grand Connection, Carolyn and Susan. Woo! So excited to have you here. And our very own follow up fortune finder, Colleen Struby. All are going to be here to help me have this conversation today about activating your zone of genius through power partnering, our networking roundtable. Ladies, thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited to see you all. Woo! So let's go ahead and dive in. But before I dive in, I want to remind everyone in the audience that this is not just about the four of us having a conversation. This is about you as well and you participating. So feel free to join the conversation. Drop your comments in the chat as we're talking. If something inspires you, just go ahead and put it in the chat. And if you have a question for the panel and you want them to answer that question, feel free to drop that in the chat, in the comments, whichever platform you're on, because we are here to include you in the conversation, not just talk at you like a bunch of talking heads. So let's get this party started. I'm so excited. The first question for my panelist is, why is power partnering so important when you're thinking about your business and taking your business to the next level? And I'm going to start with Carolyn. Can you please answer that question for me? Why is it so important?
Oh my goodness, I would love to answer this question. And the why is significant because a lot of businesses think that they have to do this alone, that they are in a position to know everything. And we all have strengths and we all have limitations. And the truth is, you don't have to do it alone. This is the reason, really, that Susan and I started the Grand Connection. And the truth is, what's really important is to form power partnerships so you can do it together. Susan and I are actually power partners. Susan has her business, I have my business. We came together as a power partnership to create the Grand Connection. And now we are making a difference and educating and providing opportunities for businesses around the world. So I want to invite you to be curious and open-minded to see where the opportunities can be when you network. Because someone in that small breakout room or at that networking event could be your next power partner to really take your business to the next level. The other reason I think it's so important and the why is that coming together with another business, you're actually stronger. You're really providing a higher level of service and your ability to reach other markets at the same time. So I believe in power partners wholeheartedly, and they can bring strengths where you have limitations, and together you can do better.
I love that. Colleen, what would you say, or what would you like to add to this conversation about why power partnering is so important?
Yeah, I totally agree with it's about partnering and bringing people's, we talk about zone of genius together. And I also look at it's helping people push me, right? So I look at person A might be really great at something and I'm really great at this. And it's like, you need to do that in your business. So maybe that's that person that's really technical, you're technical and you need that person who wants to grab the mic and be on the stage. So being able to power partner with people can really, excel both companies, just like Carolyn was saying. And I think, when you look at expanding your business, it's tapping into a whole nother network. I think you touched on this slightly, is that, I don't know who you know, right? So if we power partner together, you can tap in. Plus, I think as when you look at having power partners in the way you service for your customers, it's being able to be in more service to those people, right? So it's like if someone comes to you and if you didn't have that service before, but now you power partner with somebody, now you're able to service that client even better.
Yeah, I know for sure that Carolyn and Susan kind of have exactly that situation going. Susan, did you want to kind of chime in on what they were saying as well?
Well, there's many definitions of power partners, so I thought I'd just kind of go that way so we can define it. Like at the Grand Connection, we look at we call them Grand Connections, which are our power partners, and they can be, a referral partner. They can be a skill sharing partner. They can be a partner that you collaborate for marketing. So there's so many different ways you can have those partnerships. So I just want to add to that, because it's not just about, oh, I'm finding that referral partner, because that's what a lot of places focus only on, which are really powerful. The power partners, the best are the power partners that become a combination of everything. That, you've got this team of people that are referring you. They might even be your clients in some way, and you guys share ideas and resources. You do co-marketing together. I mean, and then the team becomes so solid, and the trust between them is like the glue that holds the relationships together. And it's very powerful. And Carolyn and I call this the network effect that happens when you have that power partner team. Because remember that Fabergé commercial? And I told you people. So I'm having a Fabergé day today. But that's what happens, is you get this network effect happening, because let's say you have 10 power partners, suddenly you're reaching their clients as well and their connections. So what you might be reaching is maybe, 10 people yourself, now you reach 100. Or maybe if you have relationships with, your community is around 100 and they all have 100, you're suddenly reaching 10,000 people. Like it's just phenomenal, right? The network effect that can happen. And this is why, as we start building our community and building the relationships that everybody has together and the trust between people works, it grows and grows and grows. And what's lovely, I have a marketing company on the side, and people are paying for advertising. Once you pay those spends, they right? But with power partner, investment stays with you your whole life. It's powerful.
Yeah, I love that concept of like you network with 10 people and you end up reaching 100 because of that network. It's like wholesaling your networking as opposed to retailing it, right? And so I love that concept. Now, I'm glad that you kind of defined power partnering a bit more for everyone. My curiosity is, can we kind of explore what some of those power partner relationships look like? What are some of the best ways to look at this particular one? Oh my gosh, Carolyn's like, let me in.
Oh my goodness, there's so many extraordinary power partnerships and teams of people that have come together from meeting each other in breakout rooms at the Grand Connection. So I just like to focus on one that I think is profound. Things happen for a reason always. I really believe that. And these 4 people were in a breakout room at an event at the Grand Connection. And they had a thread that went through each of their businesses that was extraordinary. And they have decided to create their own community from that one meeting at the Grand Connection.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, it's extraordinary. Like when I heard about it, I was so excited, and so was Susan. This is what it's all about. It's about coming together and how can we serve our communities, our clients at a higher level. So the story goes as is. One of our members, Erin Price, has a company called the Mastectomy Guide. She's created videos for women going through breast cancer and supporting them. Now she's taken her business to another level, training registered massage therapists around the world how to serve women going through that transition. So in this breakout room, she introduces herself with those two elements. One of the ladies happened to be from New York. Erin is from British Columbia, Canada. And one of the ladies was from New York, and she's a naturopath that specifically focuses on women going through breast cancer. Another lady was from another place within the United States, and she's a nutritionist doing exactly the same thing. So the four of them, their target focus client, their ideal client is women going through breast cancer. So now they've decided to create a support community for women around the world called the Breast Connection. So they're meeting. I even met someone last week. They said, oh, we went to this amazing event called the Breast Connection. I said, well, I know them. You know, I just want to say, like, you know, open your mind here, you know, and it's thinking about this network effect that Susan talks about, but also from your client's perspective, to look at what your clients need. I mean, Erin teaches therapists, and she looks after women going through the transition one-on-one, yet they need nutritional help. They need a naturopath, you know, they need support and counseling. So just this idea of the needs of your client and what you hear them say, where's the gaps, where's the problems, where's the issues, and then creating power partnerships with specifically who those individual businesses are. And then that's how Susan talks about this team of people that you can trust, that you respect, that you know that they are functioning from their highest level of service, and you can easily recommend them wholeheartedly, and vice versa. So it's, you know, it's an extraordinary, but that's just one story at the Grand Connection. I mean, so good.
Yeah. So when you said the Breast Connection, I was thinking another good name would be Bosom Buddies.
Yeah.
I love that story and love how that is power partnering in action in like a really, really profound way. Colleen, did you want to share maybe one way to look at these power partners in action, if you will?
Yeah, I think I'll go back to what Susan was saying, is like there's different types of power partners, right? And how you want to define it. So that was a great example of, you know, coming together where you can power partner with other people that service your same clients, right? So I also look at power partners as my team of people who are helping me grow my business in total. So looking at you know, getting those people around you, whether that's a great CPA, a lawyer, you know, your marketing person, you know, having all those strategic connections and power partners around you that are going to just elevate your business in total is great. And I found that through, you know, through Mink Life, we do the co-working sessions every day, and, you know, with the Minkovator, and just to have, you know, those sounding boards, right? Those other people who they're not in your business. Maybe their clients aren't even the same kind of clients as you have, but they just come from a different perspective where you can say, here's what I'm thinking about doing, and getting that feedback from somebody who you trust. We were talking about, you know them, you like them, you trust them, and they have your best interests in heart. It's that, you know, you can bounce those ideas off, and just that has been just invaluable type of information, you know. And it just takes you, like I said, it can take your business from, you know, this step on, you know, skipping a couple steps and getting up, you know, multiple steps away. So
absolutely. It's one of the funnest parts about being in the community. I know technically I built it, so I'm not supposed to say that, but it is literally one of the funnest parts. Is like earlier today, I was working through my online program, and I had a couple of the members who were in, and I was like, hey, can you guys read this to make sure that there were no typos? And I'm the worst speller. And so it was amazing for them to say, well, I found this and I found that and I found this. And it didn't feel like, you know, they were coming for me. It felt like, you know, they were lovingly supporting me through my work. So yeah, I am not only the president, but what is the guy from the hair club, right? Like I'm not only
I'm a client.
but
I'm not
also
only a
the
client, but I'm a client. Well, that's like today when I was doing my session, you know, my Fall in Love with Follow-up experience, I learn something new every day too. So it's not just come and hear my expertise. It's really that group mind, you know, when you get multiple people together, you've got that other group mind that comes in play, and we can just really learn from each other and save everyone time, right? So
Yeah, I know the Grand Connections is all about collaboration, and technically we went down this rabbit hole because of what Susan said. But Susan, was there anything else that we can think about when we're looking at the definition of power partners, and what are some extra thoughts about like looking at who could possibly be a potential power partner that you can add to this particular conversation?
Well, I'll take some of the words from Jay Facette of JV. He's speaking at our big event, our big networking event tomorrow. One of the 4 partners coming together, a big collaboration itself. That's what we do. Everything we do is a collaboration. So, but, you know, he talks about upstream, downstream, and instream. And, you know, upstream are the people that have a problem. They notice a problem that you can solve. So they're going to send them down the stream to you. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm in my stream, like I have a web design agency, and I find like problems all the time when I get to people. I don't do a lot of copywriting. So if I notice the copywriting is a problem, I can send them to my power partner who does copywriting. And vice versa. She's actually quite in stream with me because she will send people back and forth. But so you want to think about what problems do you solve? So then you look for the people that may notice those problems. Those are your upstream people. And what problems do you notice when you're working with a client? Because when you become the problem solver, they become trusted customers. They love you and you're helping them in every way. And I don't want to do everything, right? So I'm so happy to refer them to somebody else who I know, like, and trust and can solve their problems too. So just, you know, always be thinking that when you're out networking, because this is what we're talking about today too, is, you know, think and listen to who solves the problems that I'm solving, and, you know, what audience are they reaching? Are they reaching the same audience? What problems are they solving? Is that a problem I can help them with, or is that a problem that I can send my clients to? And be open to both sides of it. You know, it's not just about who can be my customer here. That's not what I'm looking for when I'm networking. I'm looking for people that I can help solve problems for my clients and get them a better experience.
Absolutely. Sell through, not to. That is one of the things that I've heard in networking, and I have took that little phrase and pocketed it because it is brilliant. You're not selling to your power partners, but more so selling through your power partners. I love that. So one of the questions that always comes up, you know, when we kind of have an understanding of why it's so important to really be connected to a power partner, you know, it's the wholesaling, like you guys were saying, it's the opportunity for collaboration. It's an opportunity to learn from a different set of a different mindset to help you really kind of fortify your business. But, you know, how does having power partners really allow you to really activate your own zone of genius and allow you to be able to be the expert in your business? I want to come back to Susan for this, but I promised her I wouldn't pick on her first. So I'm going to go to Colleen. Colleen, how does working with these people help you activate your zone of genius?
Well, in the sense of I'm probably stealing Susan's stuff in the sense. So, but what she touched on is the sense that you don't need to know everything, right? And that you can tap in because you know what you can do best and how you do it. So that way, if you surround yourself with people who can do the other pieces, then that gives you the time, the space, and ability to tap into what you do the best for your clients. And then know that you've surrounded yourself with other great individuals that can really support them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Susan, are you ready to add to
that?
Since she stole a little bit of what you said and added to it, do you want to add on to what your original seed here?
Sure, I can add to that. You know, it allows you to become that expert that you really want to be and figure out what is your path and what's your signature expertise. You know, being a generalist, it's great for seeing the overall picture, but it's not easy to market a generalist. So as a marketing person, if you can start putting, figuring out what that niche is that you are an expert in, then suddenly this world opens up to all these partners that will fit, like, just sort of draw you in the circle. Here, this is me. What little circles around me are going to help create this perfect solution for my clients? And then everybody in those circles are all experts in their thing, and they can all send you clients back, and then that network effect happens, and then you get the Fabergé happening, and you reach so on and so on and so on, and you got hundreds of clients loving you, and you actually are narrowed down in on the niche and the expertise that you are passionate about too. So it's very exciting. Yeah. And then the possibilities are endless because you have more time, because more people are out selling you. You're focused more on what you want to do. The power of one is a talk I do often. And, focusing on one thing, one signature product, one audience, one marketing campaign, one of everything. Like, just narrow it down. There's a whole list of these things of ones that I talk about, but you can just narrow it down so that you do really well in one thing. And then you find the partners around you who really do well in those one things that are, complement you side by side. And the more Carolyn can talk to this, because she talks to clients about clarity, getting that clarity on things. You get the clarity on it, and then the focus becomes that you can now have this power team that can do everything for your clients and just, help them achieve all of their dreams too. And what ends up happening is my clients become part of my power team too, right? So, everybody becomes, like, it's just one big happy family.
Keep the money in the family, baby. Keep the money in the family. I love that. Carolyn, I know you're chomping at the bit to really add to that.
Well, it is about clarity that Susan said. It is about focus. It really, bottom line, is knowing the value. We just did a workshop, the first part of 2-part series on networking. Mm-hmm. And it's about knowing who you are, knowing what you stand for, knowing the value that you represent clearly in order to communicate that with your power partners as well. So it's simple for them. So they know how to easily communicate your value to their clients, to their strategic alliances, to their power partners. And that's when you get this huge growth in business coming to you like a magnet. Yet what I observe in the last 40 years, and Susan too, a lot of businesses do not clearly know the value that they represent. And I think that activating that zone of genius, that is the area that's really significant and super important. I know, Colleen, you focus on this with your business too. And so it's really being curious with a real open mind. And it's also asking your clients, so what is the value that I represent? It's really being that confident to hear back their truth. I talk about truth marketing all the time too. It's not what I think. It truly is what my clients think, my power partners, strategic partnerships. It's what they think of the value. So just taking that time to activate, and it also inspires you. You'll know your why. Like, why am I doing this? What is the significant aspect of, the reason I do it, but also what impact and influence that has in the community with their clients. So it's that clarity that I think is so important to activate that zone of genius, because then creativity comes in and innovation comes in and confidence and conviction. And then when they show up in the breakout room, the message is very clear. This is what Susan and I talk about all the time, is that when you show up to share who you are, what you stand for, and the value within your business, it has to be crystal clear so people get it. Because that's when they're going to want to book a Zoom meeting with you and find out more, because they're curious. They're thinking, that sounds really interesting. Ooh, I think some of my clients could appreciate that. And that's when action happens. That's when momentum happens. And that's when more business happens.
Yeah. So last week we were talking about building trust, and one of the conversations was leadership. And Chris Hampton and I were talking about as a leader in your business, you have to be a talent scout. And I kind of feel like that theme is rolling over into this conversation a little bit, where you guys have all been talking about, hey, you need to find those other people who have skill sets that are outside of yours or that are not necessarily your favorite part, and make them your power partners, so that you, one, have that as a part of your tribe to help you be better, but also two, to allow them to get the overflow and be of, you can be of value to them by passing people their way when it's something that you don't want to do. I'm loving this conversation. I keep getting goosebumps because it just feels like it's resonating so well, and it's really good information. And if you are just tuning in and listening to us right now, or you just popped on to one of the different platforms and are like, what are these ladies talking about? We are currently talking about power partnership and how that helps you activate your zone of genius. And this particular conversation is being sponsored by the two ladies right here on this platform, the Grand Connection. So feel free to drop your comments in the chat if you have any questions about power partners, specifically for our experts. I would love to have them. Just go ahead and put them in the chat on whatever platform you're on, and we will actually put them right here across the screen. So when I always like to throw a curveball question. And so I'm going to throw a little curveball here and ask, what is your zone of genius? What is your zone of genius? So I will start with Susan this time. What is your zone of genius?
I actually am a bit of a generalist, so I'm in the process of trying to find my zone of genius that would really activate my genius. I haven't, marketing is my passion. I've been in marketing for over 30 years, and I've taken this marketing to the Grand Connection. Now, Grand Connection, we are, and I will add in it that networking and collaboration has been my biggest form of marketing throughout my life. As a small business owner, even though I know how to do Facebook ads, I'm an SEO expert. I've been through 30 years of marketing. I did Letraset back in the day. So I, print ads, everything was all, I've been through it all. I remember when Facebook came out. I remember when Google came out. I remember when Twitter came out. So I know the steps of all the new channels that have come, but it's all back to the same thing. You're still trying to find that brand narrative, that story. What story are you creating for your customers, and bring it through? So as a marketing genius, I take that marketing and allow in our collaborations for people to get more visibility. So I'm taking that marketing genius I have, the experience, I guess, and I bring it to the Grand Connection. And, together, Carolyn, like, she loves everybody to death. She gets to know them so well, and their vision and their passion. And then I start to know who they are. And then I run different things like our giveaway, for example. And we're now looking at a collaborative magazine to do together to give more visibility to all of our members as part of their membership. So I guess that marketing is my zone of genius. I should probably, specialize. I tend to specialize on conversions. That would be where I narrow down in doing web design. So
Nice.
that answers the question.
I can add to that.
The older you get, the more things you do know. So it's
yeah, it can be hard to narrow it down. It can be hard to narrow it down. Well, yeah. I have a follow-up or a clarifying question then. What part of what you do, like just that one thing that if you could do that the most of all the things that you do, because you do quite a bit, if you could spend your time doing one thing the most, what would that be?
I love working with a new client and seeing, I guess because I have a broad perspective of the world of business and marketing, that I can kind of go with the client and find those new ways that they can make a difference in changing how they run their business, whether it's finding new collaborations, narrowing down their market, seeing the clarity on their messaging and where it's off, and to tighten that up and to make things more simple for them. A lot of people get overwhelmed with that hamster wheel, and they think they need to be doing this and here and this and here, and then and they have 10 different products they're trying to sell, or programs. A lot of our clients are coaches, and come down and go, what are you really good at? And then I can see, because I've seen so many people doing different things, that I can pull it together for them.
Love that. I love that. All right. So, Carolyn,
Yeah,
What's
I'm
your
going to
zone of
add
genius?
to Susan's zone of genius because I know it. I for
Does
every day,
it?
and
I think that it works that
you
way,
know,
right? Other people
the
can
zone of
see.
genius I think is interesting, and I think having a conversation about this with your power partners, with the people that really believe in you, would be a really good idea because they know you. So I will tell you, I think Susan's zone of genius is really understanding what marketing is and innovatively coming up with strategies and ways of connecting with those ideal clients. She's always coming up with amazing ideas for the Grand Connection. Well, we could do this and we could do that. And then we could do this. And I'm like, okay, great. Okay, we can do that. Ooh, that's a good one. And I just let her roll because that is a natural zone of genius. And this is a perfect example that I talk about value, because we take for granted
Mhm.
what comes naturally for us.
Yep.
And this is a perfect example for Susan because she didn't mention that. And I think that is the zone of genius for Susan because it's like breathing. When we live, eat, sleep what we love, because she loves marketing. I mean, she just landed in an avenue from a very young age to do
Yeah.
something that she loves to do, because she can see the difference it makes for the businesses, but also those clients that receive those services. So for her, it's really a making a difference position. So that's what I have to say about that. And I just think that
No, so what's your zone of genius? And we'll see if Susan agrees.
so Susan's right. I love people. I
Okay.
I adore them. I see the magnificence of the strengths, the talents, the skills, the gifts that people represent, and the value. So my zone of genius is really loving and supporting businesses to see that for themselves, because it's exactly what I said about Susan. People do not see what that is. And I think, the process that I take my clients through, whether it be a business planning process or through my coaching practice, is I get them to discover this extraordinary value that they represent and then believe in it and own it and show up with the language, the understanding of how they truly impact other people's lives in an authentic, genuine, powerful way. So,
Yeah.
and, to me, it's, time can go by, 2 hours can go by, and we are swimming in the power of possibility. I call it pop. When we're swimming in that, I mean, it's like a second for me. It's a second. I know you know what I'm talking about here
Oh,
too.
yeah.
So, um, so that truth is so powerful. And my zone of genius, what I love is witnessing the transformation that my clients go through. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the greatest joy. It fills my heart full of so much gratitude and love for people. And, the greatest injustice for me is seeing people not showing up for all that they are to serve in their business. So
Yeah.
that's me.
All right. And 100% true. If you have not encountered Carolyn firsthand, she's like, oh my gosh, you're a person. I want to know everything. What makes you tick? And like, it's infectious and it's endearing and it's like, it really connects you to her. And it makes you want to know more about her. It makes you want to know about all the things she's doing, which is why the Grand Connection has been so successful with the marketing genius and the people person clashing together to create this amazing experience. If you guys haven't already signed up to be a part of the Grand Connection event tomorrow, you're not going to want to miss it because you'll get to see this genius popping in action. Colleen, I'm curious now. I am Colleen's power partner, so I am curious to see what she says as her.
I was gonna say, why don't you take it, right? She probably you'll know better, right? So, I would say my zone of genius is the power of connecting. So being a master connector. So, and sometimes you don't realize this till you look back at different things in your life. And sometimes you look at something like, I always felt like I didn't belong, right? I always felt like I was outside of a group. And I always like, that was always like bothers me. It's like, why can't I find the people that I'm like just like? And then, then you keep going through life, right? And that comes up, and then you work with some life coaches and business coaches and stuff. And you realize that like the reason I can't find just the one group is because I am typically in the center, right? So, or I am part of every little group. So it was easy for me to, we talked with Monica about this, like talk to the people who were on the sports teams, and talk to the people who were the geeks, and talk to the people, and be able to kind of convey that information. And when I was in IT, ran a IT department in a manufacturing company, it was the ability to go to the shop floor and talk to those people and understand what they needed, and be able to take that information and explain it to the people in the boardroom and say, okay, here's what's going on, and do it the other way. It's like, or between two departments saying, okay, we need you to do this so that it works over here. And I find that when I do networking, and I've been doing networking for 20 years, is that, and so, Carolyn was saying about feeding the heart. Like nothing feeds my heart more than someone coming up to me and say, oh my God, thank you so much for introducing me to this group or this person. It's changed my life. It's, my business is rocking now. And oh my God, they were wonderful. And, just all that. And I'm like, yeah, I had a part in that, right? It's just like, that's the impact that I feel like that I can do for other people. So I would say that's probably what I would consider my.
Yeah, so I will sanction that particular statement. That is her zone of genius, but not for the reasons that she said. So Colleen absolutely can work a freaking room, and on the backside when I'm talking to Colleen, we're talking about all the things. She's like, "Oh, I'm not so sure," and she's very humble and very like, oh, I don't know. But then I've been to an in-person event with Colleen, and I've been on networking events on Zoom with Colleen, and she can work a room. She makes everyone feel comfortable and open to talk, which is why everyone's able to tell her what they need, because she just has this way of helping people open up and feel confident and comfortable telling her what they need so that she can go and find it. So yes, I will sanction that, but it's because she has the most amazing way of like allowing people to open up to her and making them feel comfortable. It's, something about her energy that kind of puts her in that way. So if you haven't experienced Colleen, then you definitely want to hang out with her in the Fall in Love with Follow-Up experience, where she helps you do all the stuff that most of us suck at, which is going to these amazing Grand Connection events and meeting all these amazing people and then doing absolutely nothing with it after the fact. She actually helps you get that done. So if I didn't create perfect power partner panel here, you go to the Grand Connection, you meet amazing people from all over the world, and then you go hang out with Colleen to follow up with said people so that you can turn those connections into currency, because connections are key. And I stole that directly from Colleen. How about that?
I think that's on my website.
Sounds pretty good. No, I stole that directly from her. Okay, so last question as we wrap up this panel. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having such a good time chatting with you guys. This is fun. I could literally do this with you every week. And I'm glad that I can literally do this with you every week, because I'm here every week doing this for the next 4 weeks. So what is one tip that you have for people when they're really, this is the time to be active? We have been passive for 2 years, kind of trying to see how this is all going to go. And now it's time for us to activate our businesses and really kind of tap into our soul's purpose. And so what is the one tip you have for really connecting with power partners so that you can grow yourself and your business? And this time I'm going to start with Susan.
Because when you're the third person, you actually have to have 3 answers in case somebody takes what you said first. So I get to go first. This one Carolyn will have said. So I'm going to take. I know this will be Carolyn's, but when you're planning what you need to do with power partners, be intentional and purposeful. in this. I mean, we really should end with this one because this is kind of the ending one. So you could wrap it back down to this. But there's a Steve Gaston from the masterclass sessions is speaking tomorrow too, and he might do this activity where he explains take a circle, make a pie out of it. Think about where you want to have power partners. You're in the center, so it helps being purposeful about it. Think through with clarity what you need to be able to solve all those problems for your clients. Who do you want to meet? If you're a mortgage broker, well, I need to meet a real estate agent. I need to meet insurance people. I need to meet somebody who does the staging in the house, like all these things that are around your business and where the gaps are. So fill them in the circle and then put that up on the wall and make sure you meet the right people to fill that in.
Yes.
So then when you go to the Grand Connection or other networking groups and go follow up with Colleen, you're going to learn the way to follow up with the people while you're listening, find those people or ask, say, hey, when you go into a room, maybe that person, that perfect power partner isn't in there, but you can ask those 4 people in the room if they know of somebody. I'm looking for somebody that does this and this and this. And one of those people probably knows them. So just ask for what you want and then use that grid or that plan or that list or whatever to be purposeful about finding the right people and then build those relationships. I guess that's really more than one thing.
So she took them all.
Here.
No, you guys are good at this. You guys are speakers, so you can figure this out. Go next.
Well, I'm going to end with Carolyn because Carolyn usually has something very profound to say. So, Colleen, I know you have something equally profound to layer on top of this.
There you go. I think one of the things that I always like a tip in addition is show appreciation, right? So for your power partners and you're pulling them together, you have lots of different power partners, but make sure that you are appreciating what they're bringing to your business, to your life, and so forth. So I would say as the tip is show appreciation.
Yeah, especially now after we've lived 2 years of this COVID, and we never know when we're going to lose someone. Now, if this pandemic didn't teach us anything, that attitude of gratitude and being appreciative of the people who are supporting us is huge. Thank you. Very profound. Thank you very much. And Carolyn, bring her home. What is one thing that they need to consider when they are, tapping into those power partnerships?
Well, I think it's commitment and consistency, because I've been teaching this for 35 years too. And what I notice is people will start out exactly where Susan suggested. Yes, okay, this is going to be my power partner. And, they get intentional about that, yet they fall off. They don't continue that relationship. They haven't set super clear boundaries in that, or also an understanding of the roles and the responsibilities. Okay, so we're going to come together to create this newsletters. We're going to come together to do this podcast. We're going to come together on Monica's summit. And, so what happens is that event, for instance, happens, but there's no, like Colleen recommended, there's no continuing relationship building appreciation, but also checking in and just continue this relationship over a long term. I mean, I had a power partner in Vancouver who was a banker, and him and I had this relationship for probably 5 years in consistency. But I always made sure that I was linked in and looped in and celebrated his wins, knew what he was up to, what was next. So it's having this communication, consistency, and connection, and finding out what's important to them and supporting them in that too. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about the business. I think it's a relationship. And like Susan mentioned earlier, it becomes part of your family, becomes part of your friendships over time. And so I just think that consistency of communication and connection and the real roles and responsibilities and expectations are really critical.
Oh, absolutely. You guys have kind of dropped a whole lot of pearls here. We have enough pearls for a pearl necklace, to be honest. This conversation is in the week in Mink Life Motivation. We call this week the Connecting Creatively, and that consistency and the developing of the relationship and showing appreciation to people who you've strategically chosen. You've intentionally put them in your life to be a part of your experience and to support you in your business is a huge one. And this is the last conversation of this Connecting Creatively. But I kind of want to remind people that like all of this is a part of your funnel. And I know, funnel is a very trendy word in marketing, right? Oh, I got to create a funnel. This is the beginning part of your funnel. And I know Susan's over there like, right. This is the beginning part of your funnel. And this is the first touch that someone gets to have and experience you. And so if you can really show up in gratitude and service and consistency here, then everything else that they go through with the beautiful website that Susan may create for you, and all of the other connections that you create along the way with them, the other touch points, this really helps them feel secure and safe, and wanting to continue to work with you. So if you haven't learned anything, if you didn't know, now you know, because we have a full pearl necklace worth of jewels that have been dropped in this particular conversation. I am so much in gratitude for the three of you. This was a phenomenal conversation, and I am so happy that I am doing this just so that we could have this conversation. Carolyn?
I just have one more thing I have to add because it's so important. And Susan knows I'm super passionate about intention. I am so passionate and purposeful because every single thing that has been successful, that has worked well, including the Grand Connection, is all about intention. And I'm just going to invite people before they come tomorrow to the Grand Connection to set your intention today.
Yes.
So what is your desired outcome? What is the result that you would love to have to grow your business? So it is about growth here, people. When we're stagnant, we're stuck. So how can you build momentum in your business? And also, so maybe I set an intention that I will either meet 2 new power partners that could be in alignment and follow through, as Colleen talks about. Or if maybe I ask in the breakout room for these 2 power partners that I am looking for specifically, and that I will follow up on those people for them. So it's being specific, it's being definite, it's deciding what you want to receive and ask for, and allow that to happen to grow your business. Because networking, I think, is the greatest lead generator of all time.
Facts.
And people who do not realize that and suffer, in their offices alone, it's just not right. It's wrong. It's just wrong all over the place, So, I mean, even if we can set the intention right now between the 4 of us that every single person who sees this will open their mind and realize what is incredibly possible, and the opportunity is available right now for them.
Yes. Susan, I don't know if you were amen corning or if you wanted to say something as well.
Amen. That's what she said.
It's really short. Just to add in, amen, to think about your networking and power partners as an integral part of your sales and marketing strategy.
Yes.
It is a major part. And as Carolyn said, for small businesses, it can be the main part of that lead funnel, that sales funnel.
True story. As a matter of fact, I know for a fact, I've been networking and have created networking groups for a long time. And I know when there's stagnant in my financial flow in my business, I go up, I must not have been networking enough. I got to go back out there and get to some more events and talk to some people. Those opportunities to be able to connect with people and connect and sell through people. I very rarely go into a networking event selling anything directly to the person, but more so like, hey, do you know anyone who has this, who has a need for this? That strategy really does help. And instantly I can go to an event like the Grand Connection and have 8 to 10 new calendar appointments on my books. So I want to really quickly give some time to talk about this amazing event that's going to happen tomorrow. So Carolyn, can you please share exactly what they're in for? I've been to so many Grand Connections. There's a reason why I'm very strategic about my partnerships and who I connect myself to. And they're exactly the reason why I wanted to share the Grand Connection out to the world. One, because did you see this conversation today? How could you not understand it? But if that didn't help you, Carolyn, I got ding dongs happening here. Can you please share what's happening for tomorrow?
Love to. So tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific until 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have our Grand Connection Mega Networking Partner Event. We have 4 organizations from around the world bringing their community, their people to meet you. One is JVology. Jay Facette from Canada is an extraordinary organization with a grand vision in regards to supporting businesses to grow and connect. And he's going to be speaking about his networking tips. Also, CIBN Connect from Alberta, British Columbia, Canada. Carrie George will be sharing with us her concepts and ideas on how to create powerful introductions. And thirdly, we have Brian Daly, who runs an incredible, big-hearted organization called Epic Business Connections. And finally, we have Steve Gaston, all the way from Scotland. He has an incredible organization that he has expert speakers from around the world present at the masterclass sessions. And so, honestly, you're going to have 4 or 5 rounds of networking that you'll have an opportunity of meeting all these people. We have a very large number of people registered today. And this is an opportunity to actually put into practice what you just heard for the last 52 minutes. So if you want to grow your business, if you want to really focus on this zone of genius and create that profitability in 2022, it's networking. And it's creating those power partnerships. So you could meet someone in the breakout room that could change your business completely and take it up to the next level. So I'll give you a few more times here too. So it's 11 to 1 Pacific Standard Time. It's 2 to 4 Eastern Standard Time. And in the UK, it's 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. We have a lot of people coming from the UK and Scotland as well. So it's free. It's free. So you know what? If you've got something planned tomorrow, see if you can move it. You have time. So you can receive the knowledge and the wisdom and the inspiration. I mean, the Grand Connection is about edu networking, which is education as well as networking. So come and join us. It's going to be really fun with great energy and 4 amazing presenters that are really bring so much wisdom to the concept of networking and building power partnerships.
Love that so much. I am so, again, honored and excited and happy to have be able to bring this forward to you all. The Grand Connection has been profoundly beneficial to me in my business. And I am one, y'all know I cannot lie. I cannot push something that I don't believe in. And the Grand Connection has been a profound game changer in my business. So if you have not already been to the website, please go to the Grand Connection. What is the website again?
Grandconnection.ca. And just go to events, and it's right there, and you can register and attend for free. We welcome one and all businesses.
Yes, and if you are a Mink Life Motivation member, we are working in collaboration with the Grant Connection to be able to offer dual membership to our community as well as theirs for a period of time. So definitely want to take advantage of that. You get the best of both worlds, right? You get that like mega awesome networking where you get the edu networking happening. And then you get this co-working community where we are able to then support you on a daily basis through some of the minutia that is your business. And we're surrounding you with experts, just like the people who are on here as your peers, to be able to have questions and be able to talk to and be able to have real people offering real help in real time for you on a regular basis. So I am so excited. This was an amazing day. Highlight of my day today. Thank you so much to Carolyn and Susan for not only trusting our brand, Mink Life Motivation, in supporting us and what we do, but also continuing to shine your light all over the world and promoting the collaborative portion of the humanity that is, because we can do anything alone, but we can do everything together. And you guys are the actual embodiment of that. And that's why I love you guys so much. And of course, to my trainer extraordinaire for our networking modules at Mink Life Motivation, the influence booster, and also, you know, one of my coworkers in the co-working space, and, you know, at this point, business partners, that's what it feels like. Colleen Struby, for coming on yet again to hang out with me and have these networking conversations with you. This has been a fabulous time, and this has been the Activate Symposium Zone of Genius networking panel. We will see you same time next week for the networking conversation. Thank you so much and see you next time.